Jonathan, why? How can you be this wicked to look into Clara's face after all these years that she's been suffering to raise a child that you brought to her as your own child, to tell her that she's not the mother? That means Clara has really sacrificed a lot in this marriage. It is not only that you brought a child to her that obviously another woman gave birth to, even while she's married to you. She forgave you and took care of that child as her own. And even up to date, the daughter does not even know that she's not the real mom. And then you come to embarrass her like that in front of people. How can you be this wicked? Now I know why Jonathan is fighting so hard to make sure that his daughter is on his side, just so that he can say goodbye to Clara. So are you saying that Clara is now fighting for nothing? I feel sorry for Clara at this moment. She is even confused. She doesn't know who is telling the truth anymore. She doesn't know who is telling the truth anymore. Everything is happening so fast. I just hope that Hanks and his mother don't hate Clara for this, because she's only acting based on, how a mother should act. But the truth is, Hanks is innocent. And this is the second time that you are slapping Hanks without even finding out if the information that you are getting out there is the truth. It happened with your husband, and now it is your child. And you come again to Hanks' house, disrespecting his mom, to slap his son in her presence again. That is you picking side. I just hope that at the end of the day, they will forgive you for these actions, because it's quite understandable. But the bad thing that I see in these things is the fact that even when Debbie and Emeka have discovered that truly Clara's daughter is not her biological daughter, they are still planning on destroying that little girl's life. What will you stand to gain? That is my question. All because of what? She speaks out when necessary. Is that why Debbie is still insisting on destroying that girl's life? Emeka and Debbie are truly the devil's incarnate. This is exactly what Debbie wants. That the husband will divorce Clara and the daughter will also hate the mom, as well as Hans staying away from Clara. The question is, what has Clara really done to Debbie that Debbie has made a vow to destroy Clara? The daughter came out to meet Clara and Jonathan after discovering that there is so much drugs on her system. The question is, how did those drugs got into that girl's system? It was injected by who? Emeka. But right now, you can see what is happening, that Jonathan is not even giving Clara a break at all, blaming Clara for every single thing that is happening. And when Clara was surprised and at the same time crying as a mom, how the drugs got into my daughter's system, she doesn't do drugs, the husband immediately started accusing her. Why are you pretending as if you are innocent? Why are you pretending as if you don't know what happened? Is this not the handwork of your ex? Has Jonathan ever taken a second to consider Clara's feelings at all? Is it always all about you? And Clara told him, please allow me to express my feelings. She is my daughter, and I don't wish all this to happen to her. The same way you got the text message that she was there was the same way I got the text message before I ran there. So why are you making this to be all about you? Hanks eventually got back home, because the mother made a call for him to be released immediately. And when he got back home, he started crying, and he was really sad that after everything that Hanks has done to help Jonathan and Clara get back on their feet, all in the name of appreciating Clara for all the sacrifice that she made, he is now the one paying for all the evil. This is just too much of a betrayal to him. And the mother said, you know what, please go inside. I'll make you something to eat, which Hanks eventually insisted that he's not hungry. How can Hanks be hungry after all that has happened? But look at shameless Debbie coming to act as if she cares, whereas she's the mastermind behind everything that has happened to Clara's daughter. She went ahead to start telling them that she cannot believe that Hanks could go this far to do this to a little girl, which means that Hanks has been planning this for a very long time. She went ahead to bring out the same picture that she took when Clara's daughter went to visit Hanks to ask questions about Hanks having issues or having an affair with the mom. I knew that she was going to blackmail that little girl with this picture. She has finally succeeded, because Clara now hates Hanks so much. And also, Jonathan has made a vow that is going to destroy Hanks. My question is, what will Debbie stand to gain after destroying this family? Jonathan was so upset that he made a promise to himself that if anything happened to the daughter, that will be the end of this marriage. How can Debbie not rejoice since it is what she wants? You can see how she is laughing and enjoying herself, that this whole thing is actually playing out the way she wanted it. Where is my daughter Clara, and what kind of stupid information am I hearing about my granddaughter? And they started saying, oh, it is Hanks. It is Hanks that did it. You can see how Jonathan will always make his wife to look very stupid in front of everybody, you know. And then the mother was like, how can my daughter do this? And where is she? Immediately, Dan said, oh, I don't know where she went to when I was coming in. She was rushing out of this place. That is the shameless Emeka who did the whole evil. But you can imagine when Clara got to Hank's house, she barged into the house and was yelling, calling on Hanks. Even when Hank's mother said, hey, young lady, calm down, this is my house, she was not ready to calm down at all. And it is quite understandable because she's acting as a mother. No mother will, be calm when something like this happened to their own children. And when Hans immediately came out, Clara slapped Hans and asked him, how dare you drug my daughter? Why didn't you go ahead to do what you want to do? Do you really have to drug my daughter to make a point? And it was so disappointing to Hans that every time Clara is always picking a side against him. Whereas everything that he has been trying to do is to support Clara, to make Clara to feel better and be happy, since the both of them did not end up together eventually. And the mother slapped Clara and asked her, how dare you? How dare you slap my daughter, my son in front of me? After me, it is you. At least you know my son better than this. You know what my son is capable. He has never done anything drugs. And then you dare come into my house to slap my son? And Clara at this point was very surprised that Hank's mother for the first time raised her hands on her. And she's beginning to feel bad and confused. Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I making a mistake here? Yes, you are. You're making a huge mistake. Without finding out the truth before taking your action, Hanks was so upset that at this point, he has to speak up for himself. He has to speak up. Oh yes, I drugged your daughter. I drugged your daughter and have my way with her. Is that what you want to hear? But at the end of the day, Hanks might have to prove his innocence to Clara before anybody can believe him, because right now the people that really plotted this whole thing make it to look very much believable. The mother had to push Clara's out of the house. Clara went out and was asking herself, who exactly is telling the truth at this point? Who is telling the truth? Who should I even believe? Hanks had to make a call to his private investigator to go ahead and investigate this case, to bring to book whoever is behind this whole thing. Even when the mother came out and told him, I have warned you to stay away from this case. Leave this case alone and allow the police to handle it. There is no way Hans will stay away from this case as long as he's supposed to, work on this to make sure he clears his name and that of that little girl, because they are both innocent. When Clara got back to the hospital to meet the husband and every other person, when the mother asked her, where are you coming from? And she said she went to meet Hans to find information, the mother slapped. What are you people trying to do? Do you people want to send this woman to an early grave? She is grieving that her daughter was molested, and you people cannot at least cut her some slack. I wonder why everybody is just so against Clara. She might end up, in depression. And they started questioning her, and she was like, I have to get answers for what happened to my daughter. And Jonathan shamelessly, after all these years, open his mouth and say, I know that you allowed and you linked my daughter to Hans because you know that you are not the biological mother. Are you serious? How can you say this to Clara in front of these people? Are you serious? Jonathan, don't you have conscience? That is not enough that you brought another woman's child that you happens to be the father to Clara, your wife, to take care of. She forgave you and took care of that child. And now you embarrass her like that in front of people when she has actually sacrificed her life, sleepless night, trying to make sure that she raised that child as her own. This is just so unfair. It is just too much. And then Emeka and Debbie excused themselves and we're asking a question. So you don't know that the child that your friend is carrying was taken care of is not even a child. What kind of friendship is that? The question is, what do you people want from this family? And the maker was so disappointed at Debbie. At the same time, Debbie was disappointed at the maker, saying, oh, we don't gossip about all this, but nevertheless, I am still ready to stand by you. Whatever plans you have to destroy that little girl, I am going to support you, because that girl speaks too much. That little girl is in there fighting for her life, and you people are still out here planning to ruin the little life that she's going to come out with. Clara had to draw Emeka, and she was crying. She was feeling so much betrayal that after all these years, Emeka did this, and Emeka was not even feeling any form of remorse. Clara made Jonathan to understand that she has really suffered a lot. She has done a lot of things, put her life on a hold to take care of that child. You know, coming out to say this to Clara is just so unfair. And Clara said, I am not going to ever forgive you. And Emeka said, you better keep singing. Now, right now you are singing. The music is, in fact, I think it has some harmony in it. But let me warn you, if anything happened to my daughter, I am going to show you what I'm made of. That is when you will know that I am really Jonah. It is so unfortunate that after her sacrifice, she has to face this with Jonah. Hanks has actually gotten his private investigator to go ahead and investigate the matter, because he cannot just allow this to slide and allow his business to suffer and his name tarnished out there. He has to do what he has to do to make sure that everything comes to the open. And the private investigation had also assured him and pleaded with him to lie low, because it is only because of his influence that he is still out here right now. But we'll get to find out about what the next step will be on the next episode. Please like the video if you have not liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll bring the next episode as soon as it drops. But for now, take care.